Hello viewers, and thanks for joining us on Health Options. Have you ever donated blood? Every now and then, someone somewhere is in their need of blood transfusion for survival as a result of situations that range from accident, childbirth, and so many other circumstances that may require someone donating blood to enable another to survive. This episode of Health Options focuses on various issues revolving around this precious fluid that is essential for survival. Have you ever heard of rhesus factor, or RH factor for short? From a discussion on voluntary blood donation culture amongst Nigerians to the workings of the National Blood Transfusion Service, we will also feed you on how to boost and purify the blood the natural way. There is a whole lot to gain if you invest your time with us. Welcome. I am Rabi Abdullah. With me in the studio to throw more light on blood-related issues in the country is the National Coordinator, National Blood Transfusion Service, Dr. Oluwatoyin Smith. Welcome to Health Options, Doctor.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Blood. It's said that the best things in life are free, and blood can rightly be counted among those best things in life that are free, isn't it?
Yes, it can.
So let's start with the importance of blood to the human body.
The importance of blood to the human body. Every organ requires blood, which carries oxygen to oxygenate the tissues, to keep them alive, and to keep the muscles, body organs all working properly. Without blood, if for instance, if a woman who is in labor, for instance, starts to bleed after delivery or from any incident during the delivery session, once she loses a certain amount of blood, then life begins to leave her. That blood needs to be replaced immediately and urgently so. We have a case in point of a woman who was undergoing her third delivery, and I think her uterus ruptured. She had to be transfused with about 27 pints of blood. She's alive today, and she has that story to tell. Blood moves around the body, it's oxygenated by the heart, moves around to the organs, the tissues, the muscles, keeps all the organs working fine. So without blood, there cannot be life.
Okay. Let's look at the mandate of the National Blood Transfusion Service. We know that blood that is to be transfused should be made ready.
Yes.
Before even the point of transfusion, if it is to save life. How would you describe the culture of voluntary blood donation among Nigerians?
Well, we have come a long way. Initially, there were various myths and misconceptions. You have people who believe that they cannot take somebody else's blood. They cannot be transfused with somebody else's blood. There are people who believe that they cannot give their blood for for anyone else except their relations, for the survival of anyone else except their relations. There are people who believe that taking blood from you is a cult. You are going to use that blood for some untoward activity. And the National Blood Transfusion Service, when it came on board, had to work very hard at dispelling these misconceptions and these myths. We do that through engaging the media as we are now. We do that through the annual event, the World Blood Donor Day, where we educate the public via the media, listening public through the radio, and we also developed a documentary on MBTS, what we do. This has educated the public on the need to donate blood. Fortunately, unfortunately, you cannot go to the store and pick up a pint of blood. Somebody somewhere has to be able to donate, and donate voluntarily, because we find that those who donate voluntarily are those who are from the low-risk population. They are less likely to have any blood-borne infection. And when we screen the blood out for hepatitis B, HIV, hepatitis C, and syphilis, it will now be safe, considered safe for transfusion for patients in the hospitals and so on.
Okay, so I know that as the name implies, voluntary blood donation, which means it is given free. How do you reconcile a situation whereby donors go to your service to donate blood, and at the end of the day, people are giving blood in the hospital, at very high charges?
All right, blood at the National Blood Transfusion Service is issued out at 5,000 naira. And this 5,000 naira is a processing fee, so to speak. It's a handling charge. Why? Because the blood collected goes into a fresh blood bag. We're not reusing bags here. And the consumables that are used to even collect the blood from the client, they need to be fresh, sterile, aseptic. And then this blood, when collected, has to be refrigerated. So come PHCN or not, there must be constant electricity supply. So you're paying for your PHCN and you're paying for diesel when the need arises. And the refrigerator, the blood units are kept at suboptimal temperatures just to make sure that it is viable when it's issued out. Blood has an expiry, has a short shelf life of about 35 days. And so that means after 35 days, whether you've screened it or not, it has expired. You can't give it out. So it's that process, those materials, the consumable items, that is being charged. But the actual charge, the actual cost is 37,000 naira. At 5,000 naira, with which it is issued out, it is highly subsidized. Somebody somewhere has to bridge the gap, be it government or whatever, or a donor or whatever. Someone is bridging the gap because you want it to be accessible. You want people to be able to access these units without minding the cost. Now, what happens outside the blood transfusion service network is that the hospitals also try to generate income from doing their own level of screening. And so sometimes their own units of blood come out a lot higher than that at the National Blood Transfusion Service. So understandably, we are a government organ. Our blood service, our blood units are issued out at a lesser charge.
Okay, during the unfortunate incident that occurred some years back in Abuja, talking about the bomb blast at the UN House, we knew how proactive the NBTS was, how many lives were saved because there was blood
available.
Yes, to be infused. Yes. Could same be said today about the NBTS?
Unfortunately, we've just gone through a period of very severe challenges because funding has reduced considerably. We were funded by the Centers for Disease Control from 2005 to 2015, actually from establishment up to 2015. But when the funding concluded in 2015, government itself was undergoing challenges of budgetary allocations, releases, and passage of budgets from the National Assembly. So we were not being funded. There was a period of, we are still in transition. We're not adequately funded, and the blood service connotes recurrent costs. Operational costs needs to be there. People have to go out to recruit voluntary blood donors. The blood units collected have to be screened and issued out within 35 days. And the screening reagents themselves are very expensive. So, and they also have a short life of about 3 months. They are cold chain dependent, and they need to be used during that time. So funding, it just implies funding has to be regular, has to be released promptly and on time. And screening reagents have to be adequate. You can't start having out of stock. So we've had a challenge of funding.
What are we doing to overcome that?
Well, to overcome it, at the point when funding was reduced, we had to actually disengage some of our blood donor recruiters, counselors, and phlebotomists. We've been working very hard to try to get them absorbed by the head of service, head of civil service. We've overcome that challenge. We've received approval to do that. And so we're just finalizing the regularization process. So when we get more people on board, then we will have those who will work to collect the blood units. Also, we have recently been granted a self-accounting status, which connotes the fact that the blood service will now receive funding a little bit more directly and not through the ministry, as it were. Okay. And then the bill, the Federal Executive Council approved the National Blood Service Commission bill in February. And the bill right now is with the presidency. We're expecting that any time from now it will be forwarded to the National Assembly for the enactment of a law so that we can work, we can regulate blood transfusion practice, and we can improve upon what we have been doing.
On a final note now, can you just stress the benefit of blood donation? Because I've heard that if you don't even shed, it has, the process of shedding of itself. Can you, so it's not about, oh, I'm giving it out and I'm going to experience blood shortage because I'm donating to someone. Can you just dispel that misconception?
Yes, at the blood transfusion service, we just collect about 450 mils of blood. It's 1 pint. It's a little less than the sachet of pure water. And we don't collect more than 1 pint at a time. Every woman can donate every 4 months, and males can donate every 3 months. And what we've done to the health benefits of blood donation, it brings joy to many. It saves a life, and then it has it helps to, if for those who donate regularly, it mitigates severe cardiovascular function. You are less likely to have incident of heart attack and so on. And then at the blood service, when you come in, you have the opportunity of having a mini health check. Your blood pressure is taken, your hemoglobin level is taken, your weight is taken, basic things. And then they take a history, they go through your medical history. So you have that opportunity of doing that. And at the end of the day, you know your status, whether you have HIV or not, although it is yet to be confirmed. But we can screen for that. And after donating, within 48 hours, new blood cells are formed. This is like rejuvenating yourselves. Most donors will tell you that after donating, they feel re-energized and reinvigorated.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Smith, for coming on Health Options. I'm a voluntary blood donor, and I can really speak on that. It comes with a lot of benefits. So you go join the bandwagon of voluntary blood donors. Time now to take you to Nature's Corner on how to boost and purify the blood the natural way.
Based on what makes the blood to be dirty, what makes the blood to be shortened, classifying them under various illnesses like hypertension, issues of high cholesterol, issues of free radicals going up and down within the blood, issues of homocysteine, issues of telomeresis. Today, research is on. Homocysteine now, in all the deaths in the world, this bad protein, the bad protein has been found out to be involved in all disease situations. It's found in the blood, bad protein. It's called homocysteine. If anybody dies now, you take it, the homocysteine level will be very, very high. And it has been found to be implicated in all deaths. Then you find a situation whereby you cannot pump at your optimum as a result of a shortage of the blood. And if there are accidents and the individual involved has a lot of loss of blood, the blood has to be replenished immediately after carrying out some basic tests to see that the blood is free of the normal hepatitis, HIV/AIDS, and other blood infestations. Such bloods are administered to the people. So to start with the basic food materials I have here is tomatoes. Tomatoes is well combined with soya beans, which is here. And it raises the blood level beyond human imagination. These two products, you can see them in this raw form. It does so with sickle cell patients. This product, when it is properly combined, this is the role it plays. And the blood it gives is more than any conventional blood tonics. Then you have the all-time ginger. Ginger, when combined with kuka, waste in the blood is what makes blood not to function well. And this one prevents it. It also blocks against colon cancer. And colon cancer, lung cancer are the two most prominent cancers in the world, affecting 1.8 million people and killing 1.6 million people. Our almighty red beans or kidney beans, whose powder is here, is a beans of repute, as it deals with a shortage of blood in kidney infestation. To increase blood or to decrease blood, you see the arrays of the various items. According to some research, it has been found out that if you have plenty pyridoxine, which is vitamin B6, if you have cyanocobalamin, which is vitamin B12, helps to boost the blood and reduce the level of homocysteine. But once you're on these products I've just mentioned, you will have abundance of blood, and as a result, you have a decreased volume of homocysteine, which has been implicated in a number of deaths.
Rh factor is a protein that can be present on the surface of the red blood cell. People that have the Rh factor are Rh positive. Those who do not have the Rh factor are Rh negative. The positive and negative in front of the blood group is the rhesus factor. Rhesus factor is genetic and it is gotten from the parents, emphatically the man. Let's join Uche Nwizu for more details on this.
Do you know your rhesus status?
Actually, no.
I don't know what it is.
The result group, I don't know that.
My genotype and my blood group.
Rhesus factor, experts say, is a protein found on the surface of red blood cells, which is hereditary. It is responsible for many maternal-child health complications when incompatible.
Recently, we call it the rhesus blood group. In the past, it used to be called the rhesus factor. The rhesus blood group is a kind of blood antigen that has group D. There are many antigens in the blood that affect blood transfusion, in the sense that when you transfuse, before you can transfuse somebody with blood, you have to check for these antigens and be sure that it is compatible. So if you are going to give somebody who has a blood group, rhesus blood group negative, you must try and give that person a rhesus blood group that is negative. Now, you talk of things like A, B, and O, and also the rhesus blood group, which is D. It can be positive, it can be negative. So when you want to give somebody, for example, who is O negative blood, you must give the person another O negative blood. If you give the person O positive blood, there's going to be a problem because there will be a reaction. And that reaction can be so bad as to lead to death.
In fetus, rhesus incompatibility leads to a type of anemia in which red blood cells are destroyed faster than the body can replace them. Usually, an antibody screen shows if a rhesus negative mother has made antibodies to rhesus positive blood.
For women who are negative, who have a rhesus blood group that is negative, when they are having a baby, they try to give them what we call anti-D. They give them a kind of therapy to make sure that the blood that they does not react with another blood next time they're about to have children. If that is not taken care of, it means that when there's a mixture of the positive blood and negative blood, the baby will not survive.
That is why the medication known as rhesus immunoglobulin is administered on women with rhesus negative at about week 28 of pregnancy, within 72 hours after the birth of a rhesus positive baby, after ectopic pregnancy, miscarriages or abortions. However, experts advocate the need for couples to know their blood groups to avoid the challenges associated with incompatible rhesus group.
Thank you, Uche. It's all about your health and well-being, and here are some health tips on blood safety as well as other do's and don'ts.
Blood is not just given for the sake of giving, and before you give blood, you want to make sure that certain things are done. Blood, the donor is grouped, the recipient is grouped, because you want to make sure that the group that you are giving to the person is compatible with the person that is donating. So blood group, like I said, is either the ABO or the rhesus. So both of them must be compatible. The thing with that, if you give any blood group that is not the right group for the patient, you are going to cause harm. Like I said, the most important thing is you are not going to cause more harm. In medicine, you say, do no harm. So even if you cannot help the patient, you do not aggravate the problem of the patient. So you want to make sure that the blood group is right. And both A, B, O are right, and some other ones which I'm not going to talk about for the purpose of this lecture. And then the rhesus blood group. Somebody can be rhesus positive or negative. Now, the most important thing is the question you ask. For a husband and a wife, their rhesus blood groups, should be compatible. If they're not compatible, the child they are going to have is going to have some problem that may necessitate blood transfusion. Not necessarily for themselves, but for the children especially. For example, if you have a man who is rhesus positive and you have a woman who is rhesus negative, now they can have a child who is either rhesus positive or rhesus negative. Now, if the child is rhesus positive or negative, there are some implications because the child may be developing what we call some antibodies. And what are antibodies? Antibodies are things that will fight against, like they say, antibody against self. Some of them will be, immune, or some of them may be acquired. So if the child develops an antibody against a particular red cell, okay, either against the mothers or against the fathers, especially against the mothers, you find out that the child will be having, what we call hemolysis, where the blood cells are, destroyed. And such a child will definitely, require blood transfusion. And sometimes it can be so severe that the child is born dead, okay? So the rhesus blood group is very important in respect to blood transfusion and it also comes in from both the parents, either the father is blood group, rhesus negative or rhesus positive, or the mother is rhesus. So that is very key, so that you don't have this issue of the child developing antibodies against the red cells of the mother that will cause more problem for the subsequent babies that will either require blood transfusion or even be delivered, as stillbirth. So that is the most important thing when it comes to rhesus blood group.
This is where we round up this edition of Health Options. Visit our platform for your comments and upload of these and other editions of the program. Until we come your way again, keep well and make moderation your watchword. My name is Rabi Abdullah. Thanks for watching.
Welcome to Abuja, the place that unites Nigeria.
Imagine a station where you access information. Think of a station that creates awareness for national development. Imagine a station that prepares you for a bright and greater future. A station for all ages. Documentaries, classroom and television, events coverage, children's programs and variety shows. Always stay tuned to NTA Knowledge on the StarTimes platform, channel 359. For partnership, sponsorship and advert placements, contact us on NTA Knowledge. NTA Knowledge, learning to broaden horizon.
Nigerians. Suicide bombers aren't spirits. They are not ghosts. They are human beings like you and me. They live amongst us. They are your neighbors. They are your friends today, but terrorists tomorrow. So you must know your neighbor now. Security begins with you and me. Know your neighbor. Be vigilant. Be security conscious. Report suspicious persons, objects, and movements to the police and other security agencies. The security of our nation is a duty for you and me.
If you see something, say something. Nigeria unite against terrorism. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Yes. One day as I did dab, they go. Now I see my neighbor on top electric pole. Don't be how my hold so. Before. So? Climb every day. Come on electric bill. You not gree pay. Waiting concern you for there. I beg you. Come over here. Okay, oh. I don't talk my own. As I dab reach house. Yay! Fire! Fire! My brand new flat screen.
Hold up.
Waiting concern you for there. I beg you, come over here. Government property, now my property. If you don't come down now, I go report. Don't be only report. Now report card. Dab 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 dab. Yes.
You can follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook at NTA Network News, Instagram at NTA Network, Twitter at NTA News Now, YouTube at NTA News Online. Or visit www.nta.ng. For live streaming, visit www.nta.ng/live. Now, you can stay updated on the go, be it on your TV, iPhone, laptop, or iPad, or download the NTA mobile application from your Play Store or App Store. NTA, you can beat the rich.
Information is power. Everyone wants power.
A very good morning to you, and here's the news update at 11. I am Muslima Sholebo. President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed optimism with the new leadership in the National Assembly, stating that the next 4 years of his administration will be more eventful, result-oriented, and responsive to the needs and aspirations of Nigerians. This was while receiving audience with the new Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, on a thank-you visit.
And the fundamental issue is to maintain focus on national issues. The three fundamental issues are still very relevant to us: the security in the economy, and then try to make everybody accountable at whatever level.
Confidence you have reposed in us, we will definitely not disappoint you. As it was painful in the last 4 years, for those of you outside, it was also very painful for us. You have quite a number of members in that house this next 4 years in the 9th Assembly.
President Muhammadu Buhari says, despite the huge resistance being encountered from some vested interest, Nigerians have embraced change, and therefore the nation's transition to the next level is a task that must be done. Consequently, a bold plan for transforming Nigeria is underway towards bequeathing a sustainable legacy of peace, unity, and greater prosperity. Speaking at the 2019 National Democracy Day celebrations, the president described as unshaken his optimism about Nigeria's future.
And allies to implement our transformative plans and proposals. Today, I propose the renaming of the Abuja National Stadium henceforth. It will be called Moshood Abiola National Stadium.
And Nigerians have praised President Muhammadu Buhari for naming the Abuja National Stadium after late MKO Abiola.
You can see what has finally come out, knowing Abiola as one of the greatest pillars of sports, not in Nigeria, but in Africa and the world. It decided